guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about the form and input tag and also the label tag. So the form tag is a tag used to create forms like the sign up page, login page, forms generally to collect information from users. So that's what the form tag is used for. In the form tag we have input tags. Let me show you what I'm talking about. And inside the form tag we usually have input tags. So this is an input tag. So now let me check the browser for you guys to see what I'm talking about. So this is the form tag right here. So it's used to collect inputs from the user, but you cannot just put an input tag here and expect them to write anything. You must label what this input tag is for, and that's why we have label tags. So we should have something like this. Label, we can say first name. Let me save this and let's check the browser again. So now we have first name this. So anybody that comes to the browser and they see this, they should know that they have to type their first name here. So after typing their first name, will you just leave it? No, you must create like a send button to send for the client to send to the developer or the website owner. So let's create the send button. Also an input tag, input type submit. So what's input? What's even a type? Or I just come and say input type submit. Let's first check the browser to check what the input type submit did. Yeah, it's put a submit button here. But what if I remove the type submit? So when I remove the type submit, it just put another input tag here. But we want them to submit, so we must put the type of input that we want, which is the type submit. So by default, the input type, you just write input like this one here. It is usually set to text by default, like what you are seeing here. This is like an input type text. So let me just add type text there. So by default it is set to an input type text. So in input you have to like let them know the type of, let the system be able to process the type of inputs you are putting. So you put the type. We have different types of inputs. We have input type text, input type password, input type button, submit, input type range, input type radio, input type checkbox, and so on. So we are going to be looking at everything in this video. So let me start with I've written the input type text already. So let me go to the input type password. So let's check what does the input type password do. So this is the text and this is the password. So what is the difference between both of them? Input type text, your text will still be like this, but input type password is like you're writing a password. Maybe you want to sign up for a page or log in for a page or change your password on Facebook. So they use this input type password. You see that whenever you are typing, it turns your password to this dot 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 dot. So others will not be able to see. It's just like you want to log into your system and they're asking for password. Your password will be like this. This is how your password will be written. So that's the input type password. So let's also add a label for the input type password. So now we can see that the form, which is everything here, which is the input and label tag, the form, input and label tag, they all go hand in hand. So but you cannot just see a website that will be doing something like this. The name will be on a line, the password will be on another line, then the submit to be on another line. So let's add breaks. So yeah, everything should be on another line now. Yes. So but I think the space between them is too small, so let me add extra breaks. So it's as simple as this. So that's the form of the work of the input tag. So we've talked about the input type text, the input type password. Let's go to input type number. So what does the input type number do? Well, the input type number collects just numbers. It collects just numbers. So which means in the input type number you cannot write text. It can only accept numbers. I'm writing text now. None of it is working. Let me write 1 2. This 1 2. Now it's only accepting numbers. And you can also use this stuff to increase the numbers 1 by 1, and this one to reduce it. So that's the work of the input type number. Let me add the label tag for this input type number. So let me call it phone number. So let me call it phone number. So for the next one, we have the input type checkbox. So we have the input type checkbox. Let's see what the input type checkbox does. So the input type checkbox, after I put it, we have this little checkbox here where you can check and uncheck. So let me add a break here too. So that's a so let me add a label tag for the checkbox. Why is the checkbox there? Maybe do you want your credentials to be saved? So if you have something like this, then you can check you want it to be saved or uncheck. If the next time you come you want to like write the old thing again, or maybe this is not your system and you want to log into maybe your Facebook account, you can just leave it. If you know you don't want your credentials to be saved, you know that this is what the input type checkbox looks like. Then similar to the input type checkbox, we saw the input type radio. Let me just put gender. So gender, then let me put the input type. So the input type radio. So now let's check what it is used for. So this is the gender and this is the input type radio. this is what the input type checkbox looks like, and this is what the input type radio looks like. Unlike the input type checkbox where you can check and uncheck, the input type radio you can just check, except if you have multiple options, then you can choose the other one. But once you check on an option, you can't uncheck, or unless you like choose another option. Like maybe you're doing a CBT exam, you must have seen this very well. Whenever you're doing a CBT exam, this is what you use to check. So once you see this type of radio in your CBT exam and you click on it, it is checked. Then when you click on it again, it will not uncheck unless you choose another option. Maybe you made a mistake, then you press it again, it won't uncheck till you choose another option. But when you choose another option, this one will become unchecked and the second one will become checked. So that's what the input type radio is for. So let me add a break. So now let's use this stuff, this form now that we've learned. I want us to use it to create a sign-in page. Not the perfect one, but at least just for you to like understand what I've been talking about, because I've not explained everything now, but these are just the basic things you need to know about the input type. So control and so let us use it to create a form page. I'm going to actually be using it to create the login page. I'm additionally saving it with login with double O because I think I have one login there already. Yeah. So this is like login. Okay. So now let me open this. Okay, don't let me open yet. So this one should be like full name. Then password. So now let me view this in the browser. So this is all you get. You just do something like that. So full name, so then password. So also a submit button. Okay, so full name, password, submit button. So now let me add my full name. So then the password. Just this. Then when I press submit, what happens? Nothing, except that the URL there is a question mark here. But except from that, nothing happened. So what will happen is I would come here now, There is also another input attribute. This type is called an attribute. Anything inside the input tag, not like inside. This one is inside the label tag, but this one like is with the input tag. I'm writing it together as with the tag. So anything like that, they are called attributes. So there's also another attribute called name. So what does this attribute does? The attribute, whenever you submit a button, a form, the owner of the website, just say like that, when the person receives information, the information like this full name, now you put it here, full name. So now check what will happen when I reload this. Nothing happened. But now let me write my name. Then NRF password, submit. You see, I got full name equals to Ario plus RSA. Space are usually represented by plus in URL encoding. So I got this full name because this full name is the name that I put here. You see that there is no name for password yet. That's why it's not bringing a password. So now let me add a name for the input type password too. So the name should be password. So now let's check what happens when I type the full name and the password. Ario Arisa. Then the password, let me use portable. So now let me submit this. So you see that the full name is Ario Arisa and the password is portable. So that's what the name tag is used for. Like whenever you submit a form, is the name that will be submitted. So the name will be equals to whatever you put. So it's the name that gets submitted to the client. So if to the owner of the website. So now if the developer, when coding the form, does not have the name, then the client won't get anything at all because the certain form does not have a name. Remember that when I did not put any name, this was all we had. We had just something like this. No full name equals to something equals to something. But when you add name, you got this. We got this. So yeah, that's the function of a name. It's what the developer, the owner of the website gets. So this is like a simple login page, but I don't think login pages use this full name. I think what they use is email and password, or phone number and password. So let me change this to phone number. Email. I'll be using email. So there is also another input type called email. Since you can submit text like this, just they submit. You see, even if it was an input type text, it's not tell me that. It's not tell me please include an at the email address, because any email, I don't want to know. Any email usually has this at something.com, name at company.com, ario at gmail.com. So ario at gmail.com. So now let me submit. You see that it went through. In URL encoding, you have this as at. This what is represented by at, but when it is sent to the clients, this is not what will be there. It will be the art that will be there, the art sign. But in the URL, this is art is represented by this %40. So that's basically it. So aria@gmail.com, password, just type in aria, submit. So yes, and this is what you get. So youtube@cizzo.com, the password YouTube, then submit. It's youtube@youtube.com, the password YouTube. So that's what the name is for. So the name is an essential attribute whenever you're collecting information. So this is like a simple login page, but it's not connected to anything. So that's why we have this form tag here. So you can put form action. So this action is like when you submit the form, where should it take you to? So let me check. I can just tell it to take me to this page, login.html. So let me save this. Now let me reload this page. So now let me just type aria, then password. Let me type aria2 for the password. Then when I submit, it's telling me please include an @ symbol in your email. So now aria@gmail.com. Now when I press submit, it takes me to the login.html that is in this action. That's the form action, that whenever you submit this form, then which action should take place next. So this is this action. It will take you to this page, which is login.html. Look at the URL here, login. Let me just call it that. But when I submit, now login.html, then it now took the name from the previous form. It brought it to the URL of this place. The reason why it's still bringing full name is because I have not changed the name yet. If I change it to email, it is email to bring. But just take note of these stuffs. So just take note of it. So that will be all. This is also a login page that I designed myself. Like when I'm done with this HTML code or course, I will go into CSS, and from CSS we'll be able to design something like this. We'll go from this to this. So yeah, we'll go from this to this. So it's like advanced. So yeah, that's basically everything for this video. See you in the next video, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.